You're now between the hash marks with James Koklak and Sean McCabe.
What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the latest and greatest edition of the greatest sports podcast in West Palm Beach. I'm Sean McCabe, and here by myself today, James is on a very important assignment, and he's working extra hard on the next week's rant with baseball season coming up. It is going to be absolutely amazing. I've already heard parts of it. You will all be very, very impressed. I would like to say thank you for the feedback for last week's episode. Many of you have reached out to me personally about the Michigan State rant, and I'm glad that I was worth listening to. You know where to listen to us: on iTunes, on Facebook, on YouTube, and we will be coming to you from another listener service, so stay tuned for that. It feels like the show is gradually growing, and it's getting pretty exciting. Really exciting stuff. Loaded show once again today. We have the final quarter, which we will discuss stories from the entire sports landscape over the week. We have our NBA All-Star Mid-Season Awards. But first, it is time for my opening rant. Every year, we have an NBA All-Star game, and it is absolutely exciting from the tip-off to the final buzzer. It is usually a high-scoring game, usually in the 190s to 180s. But every single year, we have a certain player or multiple players who are snubbed from the All-Star game. It happens every single year. And this year is no different. There are players that deserve to go that they end up not going because they let somebody else in or because there's not enough roster spots. And this year is no different with Ben Simmons of the Philadelphia 76ers. Simmons is averaging over 16.5 points per game, over 8.5 rebounds per game, and just over 8 assists per game. And he has only missed one game this season. He is a 6'10" point forward matchup nightmare, and he is only a rookie. Oh, and did I mention that he is just about the best player on his team? The other best player on the team is Joel Embiid. He is already in the All-Star game. He was one of the starters for the All-Star game. But why can't you have both? Because of Simmons, more so than Embiid, the Sixers are a playoff team. Simmons is playing every single day. Embiid does not play back-to-backs at all. And Simmons, he's carrying that team. Just the other night, they were playing the Miami Heat. They were down by 24, no Joel Embiid, and Ben Simmons led the team back down by 24 to win a very crucial game between the Sixers are the 7th seed and the Heat were the 8th seed. So very crucial game, and that Simmons led the team back. So that's why I say he's more important to the Sixers than Joel Embiid. But the Sixers are a playoff team because of Joel Embiid, but more so because of Ben Simmons. I'm not saying that anyone should be removed from the current rosters this year, but what does somebody have to do to make the All-Star game? Clearly, changing the entire culture of an organization and almost averaging a triple-double on a playoff team isn't enough. I have a very, very simple solution. It's very easy. They need to expand the rosters. Instead of having 12 people per team, have 15. I know it is not like an NBA roster. It's more than an NBA roster. But you know what? There are so many All-Stars in this league that deserve to be on the team. So many of the reserves should have been already on the team. It's a shame that they ended up being reserves. So if they add 12, if they go from 12 to 15 players, they're going to be adding another 6 All-Stars total, because it is horse crap how the players get selected to the game anyway, but by fan voting. The actual players who are All-Stars need to be in this game, yes, even if they are rookies. Coming up next, we have our NBA All-Star Mid-Season Awards. You do not want to miss this. Who is our MVP? Who is our Rookie of the Year? Defensive Player of the Year? Most Improved Player? And Coach of the Year. Plus, we'll give you the predictions: who's going to win the dunk contest, who's going to win the three-point contest, and who is going to win the skills challenge. Stay tuned. You're listening to BTH.
You're listening to Between the Hash Marks with James Koklak and Sean McCabe, brought to you by an unknown sponsor we don't have yet. Now back to the show.
And welcome back to Between the Hash Marks. We just got done with the opening rant, basically telling it how it is. The NBA All-Star Game needs to add more roster spots to these NBA All-Star League teams. It's not cool that players are getting left off these rosters every single year, more than deserving players. But right now, we have our NBA All-Star Break mid-season awards. And we're just going to get right into it here. Who is the mid-season MVP of the league? It is LeBron James. Come on. James Harden was the front runner for this award until he missed 2 weeks due to injury. But I think LeBron James has a strong case whether James Harden gets hurt or not. At some point, how does the consensus best basketball player in the world keep getting denied of the MVP award? Although Cleveland has lacked an imposing defense or really any defense at all, and night-to-night instability, they have no night-to-night stability at all. LeBron James individualistically has been more electrified and more formidable than any other season he has ever played. He has not missed a single game this year. He's among the league leaders in minutes. He's near the top of the leaderboard in the major advanced statistics. From a historical standpoint, LeBron James is also tracking towards the first 27 point per game, 8 rebound per game, and 8 assists per game season of his career, which would place him in company with Michael Jordan, Russell Westbrook, and James Harden in the modern era. It is his best season scoring since 2010, his third best shooting year ever. So the best player of this generation is having the best season of his career. It is clear cut. LeBron James is the MVP. The Rookie of the Year. We kind of already discussed this a little bit. We discussed this guy during the opening rant. Rookie of the Year, how can it not be Ben Simmons? From a durability and impact standpoint, Simmons has missed only one game, has posted a plus 2.0 net rating for a Sixers team that is above 500 and is in the East's playoff picture. The last player to match Simmons' 16.5 points per game, 8 rebounds per game, and 8 assists per game stat line at the age of 21 or younger, it was Magic Johnson in 1981. Not saying he is Magic Johnson, but he's the same kind of player. He has the same kind of impact for a team. We rarely see NBA rookies like Ben Simmons. So much of the process coming to fruition counted on him playing the point guard position and taking on the brunt of the team's offensive creation from the first day of his NBA career. Simmons never skipped a beat at any point in this season, blending perfectly with Joel Embiid and punishing offenses at the rim. And Simmons flirts with a triple-double every single night. Yes, I know Donovan Mitchell is having a fantastic season out in Utah. He's having an incredible amount of points per game for a rookie. He is having a great season, yes. Jason Tatum in Boston having another great season. He's another one having a great season. Kyle Kuzma with Los Angeles Lakers having a great season. But Ben Simmons has literally changed the culture of this team and has pushed them to be a playoff team. You got to give it to Ben Simmons. Now we go to the Defensive Player of the Year. You got to give it to Al Horford here of the Boston Celtics, the center for the Boston Celtics. Now look, there aren't any perfect candidates this year, so let's honor the guy anchoring the league's most efficient defense. You'll find a slew of Celtics atop the league leaders in individual defensive rating, and while that speaks to the strength of the entire scheme as a whole, Horford has been the man at the center of it all, tasked with communicating from the back and understanding what's happening at all times throughout the game. And this has come after the departures of Avery Bradley, who is a defensive force, and Jay Crowder, who is another defensive force. Horford deserves a ton of credit for keeping things together as the cornerstone for Boston. And in a year with no Kawhi Leonard, no Rudy Gobert, it's really between Al Horford and Draymond Green, but I think you gotta give it to the guy who is on the best defensive team. Give it to Al Horford. Now we move on to the most improved player of the year, and it's got to be Victor Oladipo. Although some of Oladipo's breakout has been due to a massive situational improvement, it's inarguable that he is taking the biggest step forward of his career as a scorer, emerging as a capable anchor for a team in a playoff position, and making the Paul George trade look pretty damn smart, all things considered. He's more confident than ever, and on the back of Oladipo, the Pacers have been the biggest surprise in the league. Given full space to thrive, Oladipo is averaging career highs in field goal percentage, 3-point percentage, rebounds, blocks, steals, and points. His net rating is plus 14.6. So basically, when Oladipo is on the court, the Pacers are playing like the Warriors. When he's off the court, the Pacers are playing like the worst team in the NBA. No one imagined Oladipo having this kind of impact this season. He is running away with this award. Moving on to Coach of the Year, it is Brad Stevens of the Boston Celtics. The defense is still elite. Yes, they have dropped from the first seed to the second seed going into the All-Star break. That defense is still elite. And a season that looked like it was lost 10 minutes into the year has instead left the Celtics haters extremely upset for months. Stevens was a good bet for this award at the beginning of the year before Hayward's grueling injury that led to instant gut check for this team. And massive roles are now pushed on these younger players like Tatum and Brown. They had to absolutely step up. And who helped them step up? Who is the coach that got these players to play amazingly well? Brad Stevens. The Celtics have pulled it together after big changes in the locker room and the rotation. You gotta give it to him just on all facets of his coaching ability. Now those are the midseason awards. We're now going to go into who is going to win the dunk contest, who is going to win the 3-point contest, and who is going to win the skills challenge. Very quickly here, dunk contest is going to be between Larry Nance Jr. You're also going to have Donovan Mitchell. He's going to be there. Not to mention Victor Oladipo. We just got done talking about him. And the favorite is Dennis Smith Jr. I'm going to be putting my money on Larry Nance Jr. I think he's got some kind of just ferocious authority. Young guy. I think he's super talented. I have him winning the 2018 Slam Dunk Contest. Now, the 3-point contest. We have Tobias Harris, we have Devin Booker, Wayne Ellington, Bradley Beal, Paul George, Eric Gordon, Kyle Lowry, and the favorite, Klay Thompson. So I'm just going to get it right off the bat. I'm not picking the favorite, Klay Thompson. I know everybody is in love with him winning, and he very well could win it this year. I mean, he's one of the most talented scorers in the league, one of the most talented 3-point shooters in the league. But I'm going to go with Eric Gordon of the Houston Rockets. He did very well last year in this event, and this year I think is the year where he finally takes it to the next level, and he's just going to drain the threes left and right. I'm putting my money on Eric Gordon. And finally, with the 2018 NBA Skills Challenge, we have Spencer Dinwiddie. We also have Jamal Murray, Andre Drummond, Buddy Hield, Al Horford, Lauri Markkanen, Joel Embiid, and Lou Williams. Lou Williams is the favorite to win this event. And you know what? I'm going to go with the young guy from Europe, Lauri Markkanen. I know it's a crazy idea here, but he's got athletic ability and he's young. And I don't know, there's something about him that I really like. They have him right now as the third favorite for this challenge, so it's not that out of the question that he ends up winning this event here. I just don't see Lou Williams or Embiid or any of these guys really stand off the page to me. Absolutely none of them stand off the page. And I think Lauri Markkanen is the most athletic. He's got the best scoring ability. He's got the height for it. So yeah, give me Lauri Markkanen for the 2018 NBA Skills Challenge winner. Coming up next, we have the final quarter, our newest and greatest segment. You're listening to BTH.
You're listening to Between the Hash Marks with James Koklak and Sean McCabe, brought to you by an unknown sponsor we don't have yet. Now back to the show.
And welcome back to Between the Hash Marks. We just got done telling you about our NBA All-Star Mid-Season Awards. That's what they should be, folks. I know a lot of you are going to say, oh, James Harden should be the MVP. You're going to say Donovan Mitchell should be the Rookie of the Year. Greg Popovich should be the Coach of the Year. I've even heard some people say Eric Spoelstra. Come on, you can't say Eric Spoelstra. I mean, he's having a nice year, but I could see the Heat missing the playoffs this year. Now you're going to really give the Coach of the Year award to a team that missed the playoffs. I mean, most improved player, it's obviously Victor Oladipo. There's really no question about it. But we're going into our final segment, our newest and greatest segment that we have on Between the Hash Marks. It is the final quarter, and we're just going to get right into it now. Mike Fisher, he retired going into this year. He is with the Nashville Predators. He was with the Nashville Predators, and he is coming back out of retirement and to play for the Nashville Predators. Is this a big deal? Let me just break it down for you. When the second best team in the Western Conference, which is the Nashville Predators, when they get their savvy star veteran player, yeah, it is absolutely 100% a great thing. Moving on. The Chicago Blackhawks, they are to possibly miss the playoffs. They have made the playoffs every single year since the 07-08 season. That was the last time they did not make the playoffs. Currently, they are 12 points back of the wild card spot, so it is looking more and more like the possibility that they will miss the playoffs for the first time in 10 years. And it is absolutely unfortunate that this team has gone downhill so quickly. They've been bounced from the first round of the playoffs the last 2 years, and it really seems like this dynasty is falling apart. Johnny Manziel. Yes, Johnny Manziel is in the news again, folks. Can you believe it? I know I'm just as shocked as all of you. Johnny Manziel in the news, but this time it's actually football related. I know that is the actual shocking part of this here. He has agreed to coming back to playing football and to play in the spring league. Is this a big deal? Will he ever see an NFL field again? Here's the answer. No. It's not a big deal at all. He's not an NFL level starting quarterback, and he's got way too much controversy and distraction for a team to even think about putting up with that. No, not a big deal at all, but we have to mention it to you because you all love Johnny Manziel. The Ravens, the Baltimore Ravens and the Chicago Bears, they were announced that they are going to have the preseason opener, the Hall of Fame game. Are you going to watch? I mean, me personally, I probably will because I'm such a huge football nerd, but this game seems like an incredibly boring matchup, and I don't see many of you tuning in to watch this game. They're not going to play Flacco. They're not going to play Trubisky. I mean, if they do play Trubisky, that would be just incredibly stupid, but they're not going to play anybody you want to see. But yeah, no, I'm still going to watch because I love it. I'm a huge nerd for it. I absolutely love it. Moving on, Reuben Foster of the San Francisco 49ers and Kareem Hunt of the Kansas City Chiefs recently have been accused of domestic violence, which could lead to a bigger impact if both are convicted and both were suspended. I'll tell you exactly who right now. Reuben Foster would be an absolute huge blow to the San Francisco 49ers defense. The 49ers need to build that defense up and keep things easy and easier for Jimmy Garoppolo. He's not going to be able to carry teams every single game. I know he's amazing. I think he's the next Tom Brady myself, but you know what? He does need some help. He is only going into his first season of being a starting quarterback from the beginning of the season. He's going to need all the help he gets. I know many of you are saying, oh, Sean, how can you not say it's Kareem Hunt? Kareem Hunt was one of the best running backs in all of NFL last year. Well, yeah, I know. But no matter who you put back, in that Kansas City backfield, all of them end up being fine. I mean, you just look at your Priest Holmes, Larry Johnson. I mean, you could put Spencer Ware back there. I mean, Jamal Charles. It doesn't matter who it is. It's that offensive line is really pushing it forward for Kansas City. They could put any back there. I mean, look, they put Sharkandrick West back there, and they still ball out. It doesn't matter who is in that backfield. The Reuben Foster, if he were to get suspended, if they were both to get suspended, Reuben Foster would be a much bigger deal. The Utah Jazz have won 11 straight games going into the NBA All-Star break. They are 1.5 games back of the 8th seed in the playoffs in the Western Conference. Do you think they will make the playoffs? Hell yeah. This team has gotten so much better. The Jay Crowder addition that they got from Cleveland, great addition. Who knew that trade could have been so perfect for both teams? The Jazz getting rid of Hood and the Cavs getting rid of Crowder, he was not what he was in Boston. From the couple of games that I've seen him play already for the Jazz, he looks really good. He looks like that guy that we saw in Boston last year and in the previous years. And that Rodney Hood loss for the Jazz doesn't seem to be a huge deal at all. Donovan Mitchell has been playing out of his mind, especially for a rookie. Rudy Gobert is finally back and healthy, and he is playing extremely well. Ricky Rubio is having a very, very nice year. And of course, Derek Favors, he's always extremely solid. I mean, they're a really good team, and I think the Pelicans, because the Pelicans lost DeMarcus Cousins for the entire year, I could definitely see the Pelicans dropping out of the playoff race. I mean, that's really all I have to say about it. I mean, and if you look, imagine if Gordon Hayward stayed with the Utah Jazz, he probably wouldn't have had that freak injury against Cleveland, and the Jazz would be an incredible team right now. Moving on to another team with an insane streak going on, the Houston Rockets. 10 straight games they have won. Because of this 10-game winning streak, they are now first in the Western Conference, a game or a half game above the Golden State Warriors. Are they the team to beat out west? You know what? I love the way they play. I love the gel of Chris Paul with James Harden and how they kick it out. And I think Clint Capella has been really improved this season. But no, they are not the best team in the West. If they end up with the number 1 seed, I could see them losing in the first round to anybody out there, especially if it's a team like the Jazz or if it's a team like the Nuggets, a team that can just put up mad points like that. I could see them losing in the first round. However, I could see this is one of the only teams I think that could end up beating Golden State in a 7-game series. But let's be honest, Golden State really, they really just have too much star power. And yeah, no, sorry, but Houston, despite their 10-game winning streak going into the All-Star break, they are not a team to beat out west. LeVar Ball, yes, I know, he's in the news again. He recently made a comment that if Lonzo Ball's younger brothers, LaMelo and LiAngelo, who are currently playing out in some European league, if they are not signed by the Los Angeles Lakers, then Lonzo Ball will not re-sign with the Lakers. This is all according to LeVar Ball. This is what he's saying. This is what he's projecting out there. So, I mean, what do you do if you're the Lakers? Is this a big deal? Is this something you need to be worried about? And honestly, if you're the Los Angeles Lakers, if you're Magic Johnson, all you need to do is just tune out all the noise. Tune out all the noise. Every single last bit of it. You just got to tune it out. You need to develop Lonzo Ball as a player. He's going to be coming back from the All-Star break. And this team looks like it got better and is going to be going out and getting some star players in the off-season. Don't worry about LeVar Ball. He's going to say what he's going to say. Yes, he's loud. Yes, he's obnoxious. But you know what? You're not going to teach an old dog new tricks. LeVar is going to be LeVar. And look, usually when LeVar says things that are outrageous, Lonzo ends up playing better. He usually ends up playing better surrounding the noise. We've talked about this on previous episodes, that Lonzo is just better with the noise all around him. So, if you're Magic Johnson, if you're the Los Angeles Lakers, if you're a Los Angeles Lakers fan, calm down. It's going to be okay. They're going to develop Lonzo. Lonzo's going to turn into a really good player. He's going to be like a Jason Kidd-like player. You might sign LiAngelo or LaMelo. It might end up working out like that. But no, to think that LeVar Ball is going to have an impact on Lonzo, whether he's going to stay or leave, because his brothers weren't signed to the team, that is not going to happen. Especially what if somebody like the Phoenix Suns wants LiAngelo Ball on the team, and somebody like Oklahoma City wants the other one on the team. Like, no, Lonzo's not going to do anything about that. If his brothers get drafted by another team, that's great for him because he doesn't have to deal with it. But yeah, no, they're not all going to end up be playing for the Lakers. If they do, that would be absolutely insane. And if they do, you got to hand it to LeVar Ball for calling it out from the very beginning, and then it actually happened. Moving on to our next topic, we have Frank Reich, who was the offensive coordinator for the Super Bowl winning Philadelphia Eagles. He just got signed as the new head coach for the Indianapolis Colts. Now let me tell you, this is a fantastic signing for them. It is not the super flashy signing that the Raiders did with John Gruden. And honestly, this could be better than Josh McDaniels. It seems like Frank Reich really has the head on his shoulders. Josh McDaniels seems a little erratic, but it's neither here nor there. But you took a guy. I mean, the Indianapolis Colts basically took the guy that was responsible for Carson Wentz's success, or at least half of Carson Wentz's success, because we know Doug Peterson's also a really good offensive guy as well. He's half responsible for Carson Wentz's success, and he was the one that led Nick Foles to win a Super Bowl, the backup quarterback, to actually win a Super Bowl. I cannot wait to see what he can actually do with Andrew Luck, assuming, it's a big if here, assuming Andrew Luck, everything is fine with Andrew Luck. So yeah, no, if this ends up working out, this is absolutely incredible for the Colts, Frank Reich and the Andrew Luck combination. Moving on to baseball, J.D. Martinez, who is currently a free agent, played last year for the Detroit Tigers and the Arizona Diamondbacks. He's a free agent, and he is not happy with the Boston Red Sox. The Red Sox have offered him a $100 million deal over the course of 5 years, but you know what? He's a greedy baseball player, just like they all are. Honestly, I'm kidding. I don't blame him at all. But he wants more. Yeah. But let's be real. If other teams were seriously interested in him, you would have heard about the other offers. The only reason why you hear about this frustration with J.D. Martinez with the Red Sox is because the Red Sox are the only ones that have given him a real offer, and he does not like it at all. So all these other teams have not even come close to the Red Sox offer, and he's the one who's mad at the Boston Red Sox. Now JD, he's a really good player. I believe he had 40 home runs last year. He hit over 300. So yeah, great player. But he wants $200 million over the course of 7 years, and he is simply not worth it. He might be worth it for 3 years, maybe even 4 years, but once that 6th and 7th year start coming around, that's probably how the deal is going to end up being. It's probably going to end up being backloaded. I mean, yeah, no, it's not. It's simply not worth it for the Red Sox to go out and get him. So if the Sox don't end up with him, then it's fine. I also don't see themselves outbidding themselves when they're the only team that seems to be interested. I don't see them offering him more when nobody else wants to pay him that kind of money. Now moving on to the Winter Olympics, 2018 Winter Olympics in Pyeongchang, South Korea. We're talking about Shaun White. We're talking about some of the USA teams, and they actually had, this is recording on Friday the 16th. They actually had a pretty bad day today. But let's start with Shaun White. Shaun White was absolutely amazing on the snowboarding. He had 2 1440s, and he did that for the gold. Absolutely incredible. I mean, if you haven't seen it, we posted a video up on the page of the final run, and you absolutely have to go check it out. Two 1440s, that says it up right there. That's 4 complete spins, guys. 4 complete spins. I also believe he did a 12-20 McFlip, but I don't even know. But he did great. The USA men's hockey team is doing okay. They did blow a 2-0 lead to Slovenia. They lost 3-2, but I believe that was in overtime, so they still got a point for that. They did win today against Slovakia, so that is good. They now have 1 win and 1 loss. But I mean, they're playing the official athletes of Russia, or the Olympic athletes of Russia coming up, and they just blew out Slovenia. I believe it was 8-1. So I mean, a lot of these players for USA are on college teams. So let's see if they can do it. I don't expect them to do any real damage. Maybe they'll make it to the elimination round. But other than that, I really don't see them doing anything. But the USA had a very terrible day. They did not win any medals at all, or in events that they should have placed, that they were expected to. They were favored to place either the bronze, the silver, or the gold. They simply did not, and the breaks seem to not be following the United States' way this year. And to that, I say, hey, you know what? It happens. Then moving on to the final topic, squeezing it in really quickly here. Roger Federer is the oldest guy to be the ATP world #1 player. Is this impressive? Absolutely. He hasn't been #1 since 2012, and he's playing at an extremely high level right now. Better than Nadal, better than Djokovic, and it seems like all those guys, they're starting to fall off a little bit too. Roger Federer, absolutely impressive. Now, coming up next week, we have James's rant. It is going to be baseball related. Baseball season is right around the corner. It is a very exciting time, and we have the Astros and the Nationals and the Cardinals and the Marlins right down the road from us. So baseball fever is in the air. You're listening to BTH.